Great. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Love Your Love Muscle, our podcast about heart-focused living, heart-focused meditation. And as you noticed, you might be wondering, where is the Norwegian nature? I'm in the office right now, and we're not going to do any meditation in nature this time. We are going to talk to our guest that you see right over here, Erin Herlihy, and
Hello, everybody.
we are going to talk about how powerful we actually are. And before we go on, Erin, you are, uh, well, let's say you're a life coach.
Yep.
You do tarot card readings. You do hypnotherapy, right? For hypnosis.
Yep, I'm a hypnotist. They don't like saying hypnotherapist unless you actually are a therapist, which I have
Uh,
not had the education for that.
so you do hypnosis. And you also are psychic. You work with that as well. Mediumship,
hmm
right? Awesome.
hmm
And we got to know each other a couple of weeks ago on Vero True Social, a social media website that I talk a lot about. And yeah, like I said, we want to talk about how powerful you are as a human being, actually. But before we get started, I want to invite you all to do a little bit of heart-brain coherence, self-regulation technique, and just notice how that feels. I want to get you into that listening mode and understanding mode and more focused mode. Because we all know when we are online, what happens often is after 5 minutes you get distracted, you're not paying attention, you want to see other things on your device. But just notice what this does to you. All right. And for those that are listening often, you know what it's all about. So just sit up straight, relax in a nice position. And for those, especially for those for who it's the end of the day, just take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Fill those lungs with air and breathe out through your mouth. And lower your shoulders, loosen your jaw. Beautiful. And relax a little bit more and take another nice deep inhale through your nose. And out through your mouth. And sigh and let the day go. Just feel that you're getting centered. If you want to close your eyes, you can do that. One more time, a nice deep inhale through your nose. And out through your mouth. Beautiful. Now breathe normally like you usually would do. And now try to breathe a little slower and a little deeper. Calming down even more. Now I want to invite you to focus on your heart space. In the middle of your chest, become more aware of that area where your heart is. And if you want to, you can put your hand on your chest right there where your heart is. Keep breathing nice and calm. And just imagine now that you are breathing through your heart. Imagine the air going in and out of your chest area. Keep that focus on your heart. Wonderful. I want you to think about a time in your life where you felt great joy, appreciation, gratitude, care, or compassion. So think about a time in your life where you felt great joy, gratitude, care, compassion. Could be anything. It could be something from today you were grateful for. Could be the care you feel for a loved one or even a pet. And as you breathe through your heart, relive that moment. Relive that moment as if it is happening right now. Not only visualize it, but also feel it. Be there with your whole being again. Let that gratitude, that joy, that appreciation flow through your body. Maybe you notice yourself smiling. Maybe you feel a warmth going through your body. That's okay. That's perfect. It's just your body reacting to that inner experience you are creating. Beautiful. And if you want to, you can set a little intention for this moment and for the minutes that are ahead. Set the intention that you're going to listen and be focused for a moment. Because the information that you're going to receive today from Erin holds a lot of value and will absolutely resonate with you and will have a great benefit for you as well, and your loved ones and friends. Okay, wonderful. Breathe normally again. Wiggle a little bit with your fingers and toes, move your body, and just notice how you feel now. What do you think, Erin? How do you feel now compared to before you started?
I was in a good place before. I'm still in a good place. It's just, it's more relaxed and it's more of a comfort good place rather than amped good place. Does that make sense?
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's
So
more
that was good.
comfortable.
Thank you.
And a lot of when we do that, when I studied this with the HeartMath Institute, we started every lesson with this, just a little focus on our heart, settle down, and let the day go, and then you're really focused.
Absolutely. Yes. And breathing techniques, box breathing, all of that. It's something that is a practice at the beginning of really any major venture, especially like this, because it's going to be the foundation and the mood of wherever you're going to go. You want to make sure that it's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about your clients and how you help people with how do you let them know how powerful they are. How do you let them recognize, like, oh yeah, I can do this, even no matter how dire the situation is for someone?
Well, first, when I'm working with anybody, it's the immediate thing that I introduce and continually reiterate to them is when you're with me, you're in a safe spot. I don't want you to censor your words. I don't want you to censor your feelings. I don't want you to think that I'm judging anything that's coming out of your mouth. I've worked with people from every single walk of life and any type of person that you can imagine. And that constant barrier between them and being their most upfront is feeling like something is going to be misconstrued or used against them or they're going to be judged. So it's like you have to set that foundation of, I'm going to be able to see hesitance. I'm going to be able to see what's going on with your face as you're talking to me. And if I see that you're holding anything back because you're afraid, we're going to call it out. You don't need to do that here. People don't initially feel safe wherever they're going in for help. They're going in for help because they're not in the best place with some situation. So to know that right off the bat, it's like you have to assure them that you've come to the right place and I'm going to tell you why. So that in itself, setting that foundation and then enforcing it with the first moment that you see them holding back is really freeing for them. You almost see the weight off of them. They don't have to talk with a filter. They don't have to talk with a barrier between you. And when you put the power back in their hands that they are their own control, they are their own autonomy on anything, you start to see an entirely new and excitable side of them. It's like they want to be fully seen, but they want to be embraced for what it is that they're being seen in. So that, when that initial meeting happens, that's what I give them the keys to. And they will test the waters. They will. They want to see, like, what's the limit? What's the extent? No, you're good. And if, like, I say that, but also if, like, you're a danger to yourself or somebody else, I'm going to give you the resources to get the different kind of help that you would need in that, because I don't want anything bad happening to you or anyone else. Does that make sense?
What did you say about if you're a danger to yourself?
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Well, if somebody is feeling like they are at the end of the rope, or they have made a plan to not be safe to themselves, reinforce their safety and security with you, and that there's no judgment, and you need to get this help for yourself because you are necessary, needed, and wanted in this world, I'm going to give you the work to contact this place for help, or I'm going to see if it's okay that we have this as a third party in here just to make sure that you're getting the help outside of how I can be of a support to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that it's not against them, it's every resource for them.
But that's, of course, the first thing, making sure that they feel comfortable and really can be open about anything, don't have to hold back. And I also experience in my work that often opens the floodgates for everything, all the information they are holding back, and even the knowledge that people can express themselves in whatever way they want, is already therapeutic and healing for a lot of them. Is this also your experience?
Oh God, yes. And one of the things is, you know how in, like, we look at law of attraction and manifestation, whatever you say, it goes out into the universe and it echoes back to you. Very true. But, and this is a big but in here, if you do not vocalize those words, they're going to fester inside of you, and it's going to be something that implodes on you. So for as much as it is to put the words out into the universe, I don't want your body to hold on to the words. So I need you to get all of those words and feelings outside of your body, and you plop it out in front of you. You put it out in front of you, and it's this big, scattered, confuffled mess. And it's exactly what it is. It is a mess of emotion and of years and years of buildup for you. So we see this giant mess that is in front of you, and it's nothing that you need to be ashamed of. In this mess, there's going to be epic highlights of your life, the most breakthrough moments that you have ever experienced, and some of the biggest heartaches, some of the biggest annoyances that somebody's done for years that they just can't seem to stop themselves from. All of that gets put out. And so you'll hear their agitation, or you'll feel their excitement, or you'll feel whatever the emotion is that's coming out. And you pick something up out of that just happens to stand out. And it's this little thing. And I'm like, you look at this and it's like, all right, so tell me the story about this. Tell me what happened just before this happened that brought this into play. What did this do to you? What was the story that your brain and your body was telling you about this? And why is this still here? And that's where the littlest thing, like this, let's say this is an Easter egg for, this social moment of this. what is this Easter egg telling you about what is to come? And it is this big epilogue story, this big, beautiful story. And it's either these breakthroughs or the traumas, whatever it might be to this person. So I'm like, okay, I want you to see this as if you're watching a movie. If you were to see this objectively and pinpoint what this is and where you are in this, what is it that this person over here is not seeing that this is that you need to integrate with this right now? If you had your hands on the controls of this, what would you do with this and how would you go about communicating this to this person? And it's a form of getting them not to change the history of what happened, but the way that they relate to it. So it's not, again, not changing the past, but it's rewiring your connection to it so you can learn to live or learn to adapt to whatever the storyline has been. It puts you almost in like a dome over it. So you don't have to keep feeling it and touching it, but you can see it for what it was to you. And you can allow yourself the reprogramming of your mind to move beyond it in a way that you see suitable for yourself with the experiences that you have had and that you have the wisdom of now and deciding what would be best for you moving forward. It's like an active precog for yourself.
Yeah. I always call it like you're learning from the past, you're learning from the wisdom from the past, but you don't carry on the emotion. You let the emotion go. The energy that holds you back, you let go, and you take the wisdom with you for a future, for your future, basically. Like,
Absolutely.
You learn about it. You not suppress the emotion, but you let that go, and that always should give a freedom feeling, and then take that with you.
Absolutely. I find that a lot of the coaching work and the hypnosis work that I do, you know, it's like regular like ailments of the body or stuff that has been suppressed in you. I find that a lot of the work is reparenting, working on suppressed issues, trauma recall, and what's the word that I'm looking for? So reparenting yourself, trauma recall, and why is it on the tip of my tongue right now? Okay, so it's overcoming whatever has been a hindrance from the past that you may have suppressed because there's something that has been so deep and far tucked away that sometimes you don't even remember that it's there. And what it helps do, with the work that I do, it reintegrates that part of yourself with the you now and integrating that part and showing it how it can be safe and how it can be utilized and what it is that you turned into and how that's going to protect you. Because a lot of the personality that's dominant at the time when you're recalling trauma or reparenting yourself or you're healing childhood trauma is this is looking to be safe and it didn't feel protected before. So whatever you're coming up front with, that is usually a shield for whatever it is that you're vulnerable about. And that's where that feeling of disconnect starts to come in. And so when you see people go muted or fawn or freeze over it, they're not actually in a freeze. That is the barrier between the vulnerable and the protector. So this is a shield for whatever it is that has been tucked away. And you are that brave fighter, making sure that this part never gets hurt again. And this little tucked away part is looking at that to reassure, okay, so it's not going to come after me again. Are you sure about that? And my point of that is to find that pinpoint of where that switch happens, that flip switch happens, and have you pull yourself out where that switch flip happens and bring yourself into the now. One of the, I just had another session, a hypnosis session yesterday. This woman, she's an amazing woman, and she had quit drinking alcohol after 18 years. And she started as barely a teenager. And she felt like she had to reject that alcoholic part of herself. Like it was bad. It was terrible. But it was the alcoholism was the medication for something that she didn't want to feel. And that was nothing that she should have been ashamed about. It was actually her will to live that was in all of that. She was fighting through every means possible to stay alive, and she happened to find alcohol as the outlet to disassociate the feeling that she didn't want to have. So I had her look at that self with this beautiful sense of compassion and that desire to live, that fight to and will to live, and reach out to her and be like, okay, no, you did your part in that time, and that wasn't working for you anymore. You decided to go into this, and I'm going to show you how safe that is and why you should be so proud of yourself and the road that you have traveled. You didn't want to give up. You just didn't want to feel those feelings. You didn't want to be in that place anymore. And that was the easiest outlet for you. We only work with what the tools that we have at hand and what we know. So until you know, you don't know,
Yeah, exactly that. And one thing I always remembered from what from my work, and also what the Dalai Lama says, is if you, and I'll come back why this connects to what you say. The Dalai Lama says if every child starts meditating at 8, there will be no more war. But also, I experience meditation and is just getting to know yourself, getting to become more whole, especially when you connect your heart to your brain again. What is my thing? And then you notice that there are other ways, like you don't have to escape from bad feelings. You are allowed to feel bad. Do you think that a lot of people in our modern Western society have the feeling that they're not allowed to feel sad, bad, or negative or depressed, and that
Oh
is
yeah, no.
that then therefore they escape to, for example, drugs and alcohol?
Absolutely. 100%. Toxic positivity is a real thing, and everybody swallowed that pill for the longest time, self included. It's like, no, just don't pay attention to what's going bad, what's wrong. Look for the bright side. Look at what can come out of this. Great conversation piece. I'm still on fire. What?
Mm.
Okay, so we have to deal with those tough feelings. But the thing is, those tough feelings are actually highly important to the human experience. If you walk around like acting like everything is sunshine and rainbows all day, you're never going to see the sunshine and rainbows and see them for what they are.
Yeah.
You need to have the full range human experience. And the thing is, I don't want you to lose the ability to get sad. I don't want you to lose the ability to get angry. I don't want you to feel like you're doing something wrong if you're not spitting out rainbows all the time. You are a very spectrum-filled, emotional, and experienced person. You're here for the entire buffet of life. So when you feel those things, what does this do to you? What does this show you about yourself? What does this show about, what you're doing here? And the thing is, upset, hurt, anger, power, whatever the feeling is, those are immensely powerful tools. So like if I'm working with, say, a hypnosis client and they have anger issues, which I have had, and it gets very interesting. And again, no judgment, but that anger, it's a powerful tool. That anger, in some cases, is your self-love and protection for yourself, because anger comes from fear or hurt. So what scared you? What hurt you? Where did that start? Where has it been reiterated? And how is it that you stand up and fight for yourself in that moment? I don't want you to lose that ability to do that, because in the right setting, you can move mountains with your anger, with your hurt, with your disgust. It's like, you're not going to stand for this anymore. I'm not going to stand for this injustice. And that's also where the grounding and the moral compass is for each individual person.
I just love what you just said there, because it's so important, and I tell it often as well in my sessions, both online and offline. We're talking about positive and creating positive feelings inside of us. I always say that it doesn't mean you can't feel sad. I mean, those are natural things. Things happen in life. You have to
Yeah.
go through with that. The thing is that if you're staying stuck with that, and I believe strongly that a lot of people stay stuck in those negative emotions because they are hiding it. They're putting it away somewhere. They're not dealing with it because they feel like I shouldn't show this, or I can't be sad. I should be positive all the time. So by by going through a negative experience and not living through it, and not wanting to, and even more important, I think, not wanting to talk about it with somebody else, like a loved one or a friend or therapist or whatever, uh, by not being able to process it or share that information with others and hiding it away, it just keeps stuck. It stays stuck, and you get into
Mhm.
that negative loop because you're trying to deal with it over and over and over again. At the same time, you're withholding it.
Mhm.
And I don't know what you do with some of the clients, but I have some like I don't give a shit anymore sessions.
Yeah.
Like you just I ask them to lay down and let just everything go.
Yeah.
Everything, really, everything that is inside of them. And it's so releasing for them.
Hmm. I've been working with this one particular woman for years. I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to say names. I'm very protective of privacy and also very detailed stuff. But she has been berated by feminine characters and female caregivers in her life throughout her entire life. She went from one situation to another with very little break in between. And this is a woman who is incredibly powerful, incredibly influential, and who has helped thousands of children and adults. And this is somebody who felt like they couldn't vent the hurt that has happened to them,
Mm,
who wasn't allowed to confront people that she loves and cares about, because there's this stigma that if you love somebody, if you're friends or family, then you can't hold them accountable for hurting you. You're just supposed to let it by, that they love you over everything else. But I really pushed her to challenge them, to confront them in visuals and also in boundaries in life of, yeah, you're not going to do that. Yeah, that's
mm,
also not going to be a thing. And I had her reiterate some of those emotions and circumstances through meditation and hypnosis, and she threw the gloves off. She went right into their face. She started telling them exactly what was up and how they hurt her, how she was angry at them, how is that even though she loved them, that she on
yeah,
some level was angry, and that even
yeah,
hate was a word that was brought in.
mm,
Just because you love somebody and care about them and there's some degree of connection to you, whether it's a friend or a family member, whoever, your loved ones still have the ability to hurt you whether or not they realize it. And just because you love them and that you hold space for them doesn't mean that you stopped holding people accountable.
mm.
You can look at somebody and be like, I love you, but this almost destroyed me, and you are not going to do this again. I am I am worth way more than being a punching bag for you and you getting to beat me down because you felt a particular way. You had something that was undiagnosed at the time. Great conversation piece. Go fix it now. We have work to do to repair this. You don't get to get away with this. It's not a get out of jail free card. Holding people accountable because we love them, we want to maintain the relationship, is one of
Yeah.
the most important things we need to integrate.
Oh, so, uh, and again, like people, I mean, if you get people in that space where they recognize that they can do this, they can talk, they can speak up, right? It's
So
your,
powerful.
it's your life. It's so powerful. And when the moment I realized, like, hey, even my loved ones accepted this, they were like, oh wow, really, thank you, because that's often the
Mhm.
case. They're so afraid, like that your loved ones are getting angry about it. But
Mhm.
if the space is good, I mean, you shouldn't tell these kind of things when you're next to a person driving a car. I mean, like I'm a bit busy right now. Don't, it's not the time for you to tell me that you hate me or anything. But right. But if the space is good and
Yes.
okay, and say sit down, please. I have to tell you something. I mean, people are so actually lots of loved ones are grateful for it. Like, oh, I'm so happy that you just speak your truth and
Absolutely.
yeah.
And also on top of that, what about the points where we hold ourselves accountable for when we screwed up or we took advantage of something or we
Oh
hurt
yeah.
somebody? That is one of the biggest things, because if some people, and again, zero judgment, we've all been there to some degree at some point. If we admit that we have done a fault, then we see ourselves as disposable and broken. Nobody's ever going to love or care about us. we are the scum of the earth, or there's this, I felt righteous in doing this in that moment.
Mm.
And you may have felt righteous and dignified in hurting somebody in the moment, but look at what the fallout of this was. So we also, in the same breath that we hold everybody else accountable, I'll work with people who have royally screwed something up in their life intentionally or unintentionally, and they need to address that within themselves. And that's where you have them face themselves in that and see the who, what, where, and why about that. Not to excuse it away, but to say, you did this, and this had this fallout. How do we want to make, not that it can be, made up for, sorry, bad choice of words in that, but how can we work on repairing this? How can we fix this situation, or at least assure ourselves that we won't be here again under the same circumstances?
Absolutely. Like that's also often the trigger why people seek help,
Mm-hmm.
because they're struggling with something they've done themselves.
Absolutely.
And even then, forgiving yourself and turning that experience and the emotion into wisdom and taking that on, like, okay, this is something I'm not going to do again. Right?
No, very true.
Yeah. So absolutely. And we all make mistakes, and we all have our quirks. And the beautiful thing, what I think with meditation, etc., and I guess also when you do past life regressions, is that you get to know certain things about yourself, why things are, and to create peace with that, and acknowledge that, yeah, shit happens. I've done some wrong things. To other people, to myself, whatever. Yeah. It's so powerful. It's powerful as well.
Oh God, yeah. Redemption's a real thing. You think that redemption won't be given to you, or that somebody that has wronged you in the past can't redeem themselves and have it be authentic? It's not going to be for show or to just keep the peace, or that they're going to just go back to their old ways. This is where consistency and follow-up comes into play. So it's like, okay, we made this plan. How are we sticking to it? How is this being consistent moving forward? Is this feeling stable? Is this feeling like the parties who are involved, that everybody is on the same page? And you brought up the past life thing too. One of my favorite things to do with hypnosis is past life regression. And what we don't get closure on in one life, it can follow you into another life as a continuation of a lesson. Not only that, people who are currently in your life who played a different role in a past life.
Yeah.
So like, you may have a dynamic with a parent in this one, but that was like your best friend in a past life, and an entirely different part of the world, race, gender, you name it. The dynamics are endless that come about, but the way that they influence in whatever lifetime that we're in, it is one of the most, I guess, contractual, awesome, but also one of the most comforting things, if I can say that, because it's like you are trusting these people to fulfill this role in the lesson with this, because you know that underneath all of this, that is a beautiful soul and entity who loves you enough to say yes to this journey with you. Get what I'm saying on that?
Yeah. I always get excited when I see things on television about past life regressions and how they recognize things. It's so fascinating. Really, it is really fascinating. You can learn so much from it. It's a great tool and an eye opener for many people, I guess.
So when I was training with Peter Blum in New York 15 years ago, it's actually 15 years to the day today that I got certified with hypnosis with the National Guild of Hypnosis. And when I was training, there was this one particular woman who was one of my first clients and who was a peer of his. And she had chronic shoulder pain throughout her whole life, ever since she was a child. And I remember going in through an induction with her and taking her down this long hallway. And when I take you down this long hallway, by the way, when you're in hypnosis, you're aware. You're
Mm.
aware as you are with me right now. It's just you are activating not only the conscious, the subconscious, the multiple layers that are going on. You are so in control. It blows the mind. But you will see in whatever the visual, I'll give a visual of a long hallway with lights all along the way and various doors of all different makeups. Some are cloth, some are wooden, some are this ironclad door, whatever the case may be. But you're going to let your soul drift and wander at the perfect speed to whatever door is calling to it the most. So when I do a past life regression, I do 3 lives, whichever ones are the most prominent that are showing up in the life still to this day. So with this woman, she brought me to a lifetime long ago where the current life significant other was another significant other in that past life. But there was a massively abusive and fearful dynamic that was going on at that time. She was terrified of him. And mind you, in this life, there was a ton of arguments and stuff like that going on. Like they couldn't always get along, but they couldn't figure out why. And they also didn't want to escape each other or get away from each other. So she goes into this past life and this guy, he stabbed her in the shoulder and she bleeds out from a wound in the shoulder. He killed her in that life. And she was never able to get rid of that pain. So I had her go into that scenario as, watching it as a third party, almost watching it as a movie, and save herself from that scenario, take herself out of that, get that person away from her, and pull herself into the now, telling her how safe she is, how she doesn't have to go through this again. And I asked her, because everybody you have a connection to, there is a thread, a soul thread that connects you. It comes in different shapes, sizes, colors, and thicknesses. And I asked her, do you want to cut ties with this person? She took those scissors and went snippy snip. And when she went through her other lives and then she came out, she was completely bewildered and something felt really, really different from her. We had to end that session for the day because it was time to go. But a few days later, my instructor, the guy who trained me on all this, he's like, I got to tell you, she went out of her way to tell me that since she worked with you, she no longer has that shoulder pain. And that is the first time in her life that she has not had that shoulder pain because it was, I guess, really debilitating. And what's more, her and the guy separated.
Mm.
They finally got away from each other. She saved herself in that. Not that he was going to kill her in this life, but still. Get what I'm saying?
And maybe not only saved herself, but the guy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you never really know what you're carrying over as an unfinished ailment or business or trauma. And when I was bringing this up the other day, you are not just the person that you are. You are your genetic makeup, which comes from your ancestors at that point of conception. Whatever the father and mother aspect was, everything that they had experienced in their genetic line all came to a point at that time of conception for you. And not only that, it was you and that soul that was plugging into that body at that time saying, yeah, all right, this is going to be my car, my vehicle, I claim this. Whatever that soul has experienced throughout their lifetimes is coming in with this genetic makeup. And it has all of these pros and cons, these strengths and weaknesses that gets brought out in the environment through epigenetics and everything that you experience and how you react to that. So you are like 3 different experiences going on all at once at all times in a personal soulful evolution of yourself. It is absolutely one of the most wild things on the planet. I know that I may sound offbeat to some people. I'm more than willing to accept it.
Actually, I can explain it for those that don't understand it. I call it genetic memory, and it's in nature. It's just go to the animal world. How do some animals, when they get born, understand which other animals or plants they should be afraid of? Like, I can't eat this plant, or I should go away from that animal. They say it's an instinct, but it's actually genetic memory. So that's the most hold on to the part from nature you can hold on to, say, okay, this is genetic memory. And they learn as well throughout generations, because the world around them changes. They also pass those changes on to the next generation through genetic memory. And it works in the same way with human beings, with everything. So you can go millions of years back in time and and find those same traits again.
Uh-huh.
And in the future
Not only
too.
So also with past life regression hypnosis, yes, you can do the soul aspect of it, but you can also do the genetic aspect of it.
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
can travel back in time, and trust me, yes, it does sound weird. I'm very aware, but I love it. I'm obsessed with this stuff. And it's like you can go through whatever your line is, and you can either give them closure or you can give them the insight that you are seeing now, like, hey, maybe not slip on that rock and break your leg and have us dying from an infection this time around, huh? Maybe you could look out for that this time because I'm tired of being clumsy in this life. I have so many bumps and bruises because your willfulness in this. It's it's kind of funny in that concept, but it's real and it's true. And we really don't take into account that whatever you are born with, it's not always your fault and how it happened, but it's your responsibility and cycle breaking to correct it.
A thing I'm wondering about, and I'm often frustrated with, when we look at the state of the world, state we are in as a human society right now. I get frustrated. Like, do we ever learn? Like history repeating itself in numerous ways. Is it because we don't want to learn from the past, and even not from the past from our own past lives? Are we just repeating ourselves because we willingly disconnect from our past?
I think that's cognitive dissonance, and I do think that that does play a part. We
Mm,
know that some really awful things happen, but we're also not going to look at it because it doesn't make us feel good about ourselves. We need to look
yeah,
and see what happened as a matter to avoid it. And I'm I'm not a person who can speak on every worldly topic under the sun, unfortunately, just because I really don't think I'm that knowledgeable, but I do look and see what's happening socially with people, and it's like being conditioned to just kind of tune out and take the easy road.
yeah.
And you see a growing population of people who are getting so festeringly sick with it that they just want to break and snap and be like, you want to know something? No, no, we're going to stop this, that, and the other thing. And we're going to relearn how to do this, that, and the other thing. Because if
Mm,
this all goes away, I need to be able to survive.
yeah.
And I can't rely on whatever this is over here to come to my rescue. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Survival of the survival in nature. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
but I understand. Yeah. But what you said, it's like cognitive dissonance. You don't want to, yeah, you just want to don't be
This isn't
confronted with
happening.
with your negative aspect. Yeah, don't want to see it and don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that kind of goes along with toxic positivity. It's going to blow up in your
Yeah.
face, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's exactly,
You
that's what the connection is here, you know? It's like we're doing it all the time. And if we could just make clear to people that get to know yourself, your negative sides, your positive sides, and see that as a whole, and
Mhm.
even go even further, like the law of oneness. We are one, right? We're all part of this society, and not
Mhm.
even what we see, feel, and hear and smell of each other right now in this 3D world, but also with past lives, with our loved ones that have passed over. We
Uh-huh.
all connected in that way, and well, I find it so fascinating and so beautiful that I can only be happy. It's for me, it's like, how can you get depressed when you know how we're all connected and how everything is connected? And once you get to know more of both yourself and other people around you and feel that oneness bubbling up inside of you, how can you end up being depressed? Because
Yeah,
the core, when you look at it, because when you find something negative with yourself, but you forgive yourself and bring it love, like, okay, I've learned from this, I turn this negative emotion into wisdom, you can start to love it, right?
yes. I was looking for this thing that I have, which is feelings buried never die. And I have this little booklet that talks about ailments and why they show up and like depression and everything like that. And yeah, no, depression is awful, but it's also either something where it's a chemical thing that's happening in the body that needs to be addressed, or it's you playing a part in life that is not resonant to you, that you feel forced to play. There's so many reasons why it comes up,
Mm.
but I never want a person to feel ashamed about feeling depressed, about
Yeah.
having this feeling like nothing is worth anything, because then they're just going to fester and not talk about it. I want you to put out what it is that you are feeling. And if you don't have a reason for it, then that is even more frustrating, because it's like everything is going great. I have a great family. I have a great life. And I don't want to keep it up anymore. Okay, so what is the underlying reason behind that? Because they are suffering. There's something that
There's
they need
something.
alleviation for and that they need rest from.
Mm.
And it's just like, yeah, we are all in this big mosaic quilt of life, and you play your beautiful thread so beautifully and you don't get to snag it out before it's done. But if you are over here and I'm connected to you over here, then there is something that is not necessarily that has to be between us, but there is something that is going on with my picture that I'm not sure of, and I need help to make sense of it so I can feel connected to it again. So there's so many layers to that, but I
Yeah.
never want you to feel ashamed for not feeling worthwhile, because there's a
Mm.
reason why that comes about. And I equate that feeling of depression to worthwhile, because it's like you just kind of don't want to be involved in anything anymore. You just don't want to fade away in some instances. And obviously there's more complexities to that, but that's where
Mm.
I'm taking it right now.
Yeah. But that goes back to where we started with, like, yeah, we should allow ourselves, we should not be ashamed of feeling sad, feeling depressed, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what I was referring to is like once you are in that state of feeling so empowered and know, feeling whole, not only with yourself, but also with your surroundings, it's like it's very hard to get depressed.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
When you are living in your purpose, and when you have done the work, and when you have made the authentic adjustments for your life, and you are in that vibration with them, absolutely everything is on a vibrational level. Everything is either on a heightened or low, when there's so many different ones out there. But whatever you see, that is what is on your vibrational level. And it's not better, it's not worse, it's just, it is what it is. So it's so much easier to be pulled down into something that doesn't resonate with you than to reach up for something that is beyond it. So this is going to have to deal with you either suppressing or growing beyond yourself. And it's up for you to decide what it is that you want to do. If you want to do more, be more, say more, have more, all of that things, what is it that you need to get into alignment with inside and out that is going to be on top of that? So does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like you see somebody that just, you know that you don't know them, but oh my God, they seem so familiar, and they just feel so familiar to you. And it's like you're meeting a long lost friend for the first time, and you can't pinpoint where that is. And it's because that person's on your vibrational wavelength. They are the very energy of everything that you have either suppressed or faced, whatever it is that you've gone through. And that is a reoccurring lesson in your life, or as a reaffirmation of your foundation, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So you know how you see people getting into terrible dynamics time and time again, whether it's a relationship or a situation, and it's just they seem to keep falling into the same thing, but they always enter it in with this state of euphoria of like, oh my God, this feels like home. This feels great. And then lo and behold, a little while later, it's like, oh my God, this is such crap again. This cannot be happening to me again. There is something that is in that, that is a
Yes.
lesson that you keep refusing to learn. It's just, it's spiritual bypassing, and that
Yeah,
you cannot do and expect to get to a different level.
exactly. Yeah, I often talk about it too. Like, why is it always happening to me? Yeah, because you're always doing the same thing. You're the same person all the time. Change your state of, you should change your state of being.
And it,
Try to change things and how you are, and just notice what happens to you. And the
and
simple thing is, if you want to, it happens to everybody,
Oh yeah.
spiritual or not. If you're looking for a new car and you want it to be a white Tesla or anything like that, just the next day, just look around you and how many Teslas you see that are white, right? But
So true.
yeah,
Your brain's a colander for
yeah,
everything that you're trying to get.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's the vibrational wavelength, and we're the same lesson that's being reiterated. What is about it that you refuse to get closure on? Also, I wanted to talk about if you're wondering what your vibrational wavelength is,
Hmm.
what is it that you're doing when the end of, like, when nobody is around or the end of the day is done? If you're just doing this great work and you're putting out all this high energy there, then it's like, now I can go do what I really want to do and just out. That's going to be the consistency of your life. You're going to do this great work and then just bottom out. But in that very same thing, when we get signs and synchronicities all around us, you'll see angel numbers, you'll get birds, animals, you'll get signs that you are calling out into the
Yeah,
universe.
yeah,
Your mind works like a colander.
yeah,
And whatever it is that you're trying to filter out, your brain is wiring itself to see, to reiterate a affirmation, a feeling, an emotion, all of that to start to create the reality is that you are pulling in. You don't have a future, you don't have the past, you have the now, and that little tiny switch flip that happens in that moment that is in the now that you are saying yes to. And if you keep saying yes to whatever it is that you are reaffirming, then that is going to be the consummate. The moment that you tweak that and decide that you want different and you start reprogramming your mind for something different, you're straying away from a well groove inside your head, and it's going to fight to get back in, but you're going to have to fight even harder to get out of it because it took you a while to set up that groove and reaffirm it and have it be so easy to get out of that and to start to do something else. It's going to feel alien at first. It just is. It doesn't mean that you're on the wrong track. It means that you're in the uh, field studies aspect of it. Okay, yep, this is going to lead into that. Yep, this is going to lead into that. Oh, it's leading into that. Okay, now keep
that's
going with it.
that's the exciting part of manifesting as things in your life
Absolutely.
as well. That's the experimentation.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, and all of a sudden you notice the way you or the state of being you should be in to manifest. Like
Hmm.
when you feel like you're in flow, everything flows naturally around you.
Hmm.
When you recognize that, okay, when you recognize that and then check in with yourself, what state am I in now, right? And if you remember that, then it becomes easier and easier because the next time you tune into that state of being and you go, oh yeah, right, it comes back again and again and again. Simple
Hmm.
example is what I myself experienced is walking to a train station, and I had to hurry. I came from work, I had to hurry to the train station to catch a plane, and I have to cross a lot of traffic lights. And then I noticed what state of being I have to be to make all those traffic lights go green. It's like I have to not say, "Oh no, everything is going red." Of course, I'm not going to manage to catch the train. If you're in that state of being, you're not going to catch your train. And I can't even say, "Oh, I hope everything is green," because that's not working either. Because then you can hope for a lot, but nothing happens. But
Hmm.
I said to myself, "Oh, it would be nice if all the traffic lights would be on green on the right time for me." And that's just a difference. That difference in that statement inside yourself that did the trick.
Uh-huh.
And if you
It's
recognize, it's possibly different for everybody, but if you recognize what state of being that gives you when you say that to yourself, like then when you say to yourself, it would be nice, you're leaving all options open. And for
hmm.
some way you get into a state of receivership, as I recognize it.
Uh-huh. So
And
it's
that,
like a, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, but that's and then it happened. I was like, okay. So next time I have something like that, I can say to myself, oh, it would be nice if this and that would happen. And I don't have
Uh-huh.
any expectations otherwise, just that would be nice. And that's kind of like the trick for me. That's so, okay, now I'm tuning in with the universe and things are going to be taken care of in the best way possible for me.
Yeah, I think one of the fun ways to kind of look at that is the difference of, oh my God, would you please just go? Why aren't you going? We don't have all day here. Oh my God, this is taking forever. That's like the bad side of it, where you're going to hit every red light. Everybody's going to be driving irrationally slow just to reaffirm your anger. But if we can flip this around and be like, come on, I know we got this in us. Come on, you guys, we're all in this together. Let's hold our hands and go through all these green lights together. Like that encouragement, that playfulness, that
Yeah,
is, I think, the highest energy to make so much of that happen. But if you are trying to plow through it like a bull in a china shop and just wondering why everyone and everything is so stupid and going so irrationally slow, you're probably not going to have the best of times, and it's probably going to be you missing a train.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a way to
How
look at
funny
it.
that works. But that is maybe something we can talk about another time.
Mhm.
Um, I would like to wrap it up. It's been wonderful to talk to you, and I think a lot of people have learned a lot here. I would say what is our takeaway from this conversation for those that are watching and listening? That's like you're allowed. I think the most important one for me is that you're allowed to feel sad, negative. Those are all emotions we have to. They're natural, right? And
Absolutely.
acknowledging that, and also acknowledging that we ourselves have been negative or did something bad to ourselves or others, acknowledging that and making our peace with that is so healing. And
Mhm.
through that, recognizing that, I would say you will feel more whole,
Absolutely.
which is what healing means. Healed whole again. And uh, also that our current life, with everything around us that we sense with our five senses, is not all of it. We take with us information, if you would like to call it that way, from our past lives, and something called genetic memory or soul memory or whatever. And we take that with us through next generations, but also the people and loved ones around us that are no longer in this 3D environment. They're also still there and are there to protect us, help us. And it's just the world and the universe is much bigger than we can sense with our five senses. And it's all connected nevertheless, even if we don't use these five, we can't use our five senses to recognize that or see that directly, but it's there. It's all working for us.
Mhm. No, I love everything that you said. Yes, everything is so much more integrated, and you are the most possible thing that could have ever existed. And it's by your active choice in saying yes into everything that has brought you up into the now. You have to be an active participant in your life and in your creation and your evolution. This, the more that you show up, the more that you have hands on deck and the more powerful you will ever be. There is nothing in this world that can stop you, but also you're the only thing that can really stop yourself in this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. For those that it doesn't make sense for, how can they reach you and ask for more information?
Well, you can find me on the social platforms. My name is Erin Herlihy, and my business is Raising Sevak. I'm on most social platforms with any of those. Feel free to message me. I'm not going to message first, so beware of scammers. But also, you can always reach me at erinl.herlihy@gmail.com if you would like to reach out.
Oh,
And
we'll
also,
post.
I'll be talking to you more.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do another conversation as well. And I heard you maybe want to start your own podcast up again.
Um, I've been wanting to start a podcast. I tried a few years back. It completely fell through. It was part of the evolution, but I am working up the system to start that now. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking to have it done within the year. So stay tuned. It's going to be an absolute wild ride.
Awesome. Well, of course, we'll post all the links and all the information in the comment section or in the caption section as well of this podcast. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
All right. I want to thank everybody for joining in and for watching all the way through and listening all the way through. I hope you've learned a lot. I think I found it very exciting. And I hope you feel after this that you feel like, oh, wow, you feel empowered already, right?
Yeah,
It's all about you and how powerful we actually are. And again, if you
excellent.
want more information and you really want to get the hang of this, contact Erin. Okay.
Thank you guys for showing up today. And thank you so much for having me, Seb.
My pleasure, and thank you for joining, Erin, and I hope to see you back soon. Take care,
Absolutely.
everyone. Bye-bye.